For tangents, a tangent line intersects a circle at exactly one point, which is called the point of tangency. And we have discussed that just a little bit when we learned vocabulary on day 1. So you can see line AB is a tangent line, and it touches the circle at one point, which is point A, which is called the point of tangency. A line is tangent to a circle if and only if it is perpendicular to a radius drawn to the point of tangency. So in the two examples here, like in this little theorem here and up here in this image, you can see that the radius meets the tangent point and creates a 90-degree angle at that line. So AB is a tangent to circle O at the point D, then AB is perpendicular to CD, creating 90-degree angles. Okay, so how do we use that with geometry? As you can see, these two segments right here are tangent, and this is a radius, this is a radius. So this creates 90-degree angles here. And you know that in a quadrilateral you have 360 degrees. And so if you got 90, 90, and 117, that adds up to 297. And if I subtract that from 360, we get our x value, okay? And our x becomes 63 degrees. Okay, in part B, ED is tangent to circle O. What is the value of x? So I know that this is a triangle which has 180 degrees. We need to find this angle measurement. We know this is 38, and this is a radius right here, meets with a tangent to create 90-degree angle. So if I add 90 and 38, we get 128. And I need to subtract that from 180 degrees. And this gives me 52 degrees. Okay. In example 5, if JK is a tangent to the circle L, so all of these are circle L, we know that the line segment here, JK, is tangent. Find x. Round to the nearest tenth if it is necessary. So here we've got this right angle. This is your A, this is your B, this is your C. And so I'm going to use Pythagorean theorem to solve for C. And I know that's C, x is C, because it is across from J, and this is where that 90-degree angle is created. Okay? Now I think in the formula we should go ahead and use x, since it does say find x. So we've got 49 plus 361. If I add these together, we get 410. And then the square root of that is 20.24. And it does say to round to the nearest tenth, so the 4 makes the 2 stay the same. So we're going to go with 20.2. Okay, in part B, we know that LJ is a radius, which is 11. We also know that this radius is also 11. So the entire diameter is 22. This is your 90-degree angle. This is considered your A value. And then across from the right angle is your C value. And, of course, the other leg is your B. So it looks like we're finding A. So we've got x squared plus your B equals your 25, which is your C. Okay, so 22 squared is 484. And 25 squared is 625. If I subtract the 484 from both sides, we get 141. I then square root both sides, and x is 11.87. So 7 makes the 8, round up, and my answer is 11.9. Okay, letter C, this one. We know that JL is a radius x. So LM is also a radius x. Okay. This is your right angle. We have our A value 7, and across from the right angle we have our C value 25. We don't know this other leg, which is your B. Okay, so now if I try to put 2x, because x plus x is 2x, and I put that in the formula, it's going to get really crazy. So what we're going to do is we're going to call this diameter letter y for now. Okay? So y is the entire diameter. X is just the radius of that length. Okay? So let's go ahead and plug it into the formula. We've got 7 squared. We called that whole length y squared. And then this length is 25 squared. So if I subtract the 49 from both sides, we get that y squared is 576. And if I take the square root of this, I get that y is 24. But you have to remember that this is your diameter. And if I want to find the radius, I would take the diameter divided by 2 and get 12. So my x is actually 12. Okay. In the last problem like this, we have a little bit more algebra to do. So first, we don't know what this length is, but we do know that from L to here, that's a radius, and that radius here is listed as x. Okay, and this is your right angle. So this entire length is considered your hypotenuse. Okay, so this is like your A value, this is your B value, and then we have our C value here. Okay, and to let's write this a little better. So how would you write this value? You would say x plus 10 is your C value. Alright, so let's plug this into the Pythagorean theorem. So A value is x. We don't know x yet. So x squared plus b squared, which is 20 squared, equals x plus 10 all to the second power. Okay? Now, some of you, or all of you, should be familiar with FOIL. And so on this part here, if I expand, x plus 10 is saying x plus 10 times x plus 10. Then we have x squared plus 400. Now we would use FOIL, or you could call it distributive property to work this part out. So x times x is x squared. X times 10 is 10x. 10 times x is 10x. And 10 times 10 is 100. So just before I simplify this, if I look at my x squareds here on different sides of the equal sign, if I subtract x squared, that's going to cancel. So I'm going to cancel those out right now. And I have 400 equals, well, 10 plus 10x is 20x, and then plus 100. So I would subtract 100, and I would get 300 equals 20x. If I divide by 20, x is 15. Okay.